If you look all over MMA YouTube right now, there are a number of videos of people talking about Luke Thomas's rant last week in his live chat going after MMA YouTubers. And one thing I don't see a lot of people talking about is the future of MMA coverage and some of the things that Luke touched on there, which I think are very interesting and something that I think we're going to see come up in the future. My name is James Lynch. If this is the first time you're watching this channel, I have a good perspective on this because I work in traditional MMA media. I interview fighters, I cover events, but I also have my own YouTube channel as well. So I kind of have a unique perspective on this whole situation. So we're going to watch Luke's rant right now. I'm not going to watch the whole thing. We'll kind of cut it up a little bit. But I do want to touch on some key things that Luke talks about and some things that I think are going to come up later in the future when it comes to MMA coverage.
What are your thoughts? Okay, good question. I guess we have to get to this now. What are your thoughts on Jesse on Fire's video on you? Also, any advice for a guy going into college? There are a few of these guys of this type where, first of all, they have titles. They don't use their real names. I can think of 3 of them, but there's some other ones as well. You know, and of course, some of the largest creators do that as well. But I just want to mean like they're up front telling you that they're not interested in being sort of seen as serious people. There's a certain like version of just internet loser that appears to be very concerned with what I have to say about things in ways that surprises me. And I need them to understand something. And I'm honestly not even trying to be mean. I don't care about you. They use my content. I'm not going to put down copyright strikes on them. I don't give a I don't in any part of my day ever think it's a useful version of my time to hear anything that they have to say literally about anything. They are loud for the sake of being loud. They are not interesting. They're not bright. They're not well read. There's nothing interesting about them. Why the would I care? Dude, say what the you want to say. I don't give a shit. I don't care at all. This dude, Jesse on Fire, he follows me on Twitter. I don't follow him. He hit me up about a year ago to collab on a video. I didn't hit him up. You don't even use your names. You give you guys there's chat board screen names. What are you 40? Like, what are you doing? The joke is really, it's on me, but it's on them and they don't even realize it. Like, it's on me. Here's what I mean. Like, here's how getting back to the conversation about like I've reached certain things, but I'm not where I want to be. Here's how you know I have underachieved. Look at the level of my antagonist. Just the most pathetic version you've ever seen. Like, that is the person that thinks that like we're peers enough to have these like what the I encourage anyone in my audience to please go hear what they have to say, and this gentleman and some other ones as well. And if in the end, like that content is better for you, I encourage you to go. I encourage you. We don't have the same audience. Like there's no doubt in my mind, like the kind of audience that I want would like, they're not interested in antagonists of this level. Oh my God, dude. How it's so embarrassing that I have to be like, these are the people coming after you. Oh my God, dude. People that look like they've been tasered on the side of the highway in North Florida. Another one who looks like a skin tag that someone super glued pubic hair to. I mean, we are just talking about garbage pail kids coming after you with loud opinions, utterly centered on nothing.
So there you have it. Luke saying some pretty harsh things, and I didn't show the full version, obviously, because that's not what this whole video is about. It's more about him talking about Jesse on Fire and MMA Guru and some of the other YouTubers like they're not peers. And he's right in one sense. He's right in the sense that MMA YouTubers, content creators are sort of separate from traditional MMA media. And what I mean by traditional media is like your MMA junkies, MMA fighting, the people who go to events, they interview fighters, they run sort of the news cycle. MMA YouTube is a bit different. It's sort of divided into 2 parts. You have sort of commentators like your Jesse on Fires and your MMA gurus. And then you have the content thieves. You know what I'm talking about? The people who just don't have any sort of, person on camera. It's just them stealing content, whether it's stealing from fighters, social media accounts and monetizing it, or stealing content from people like myself and putting it in their own videos. So we're sort of focusing on the commentators here today, the Jesse on Fires, like I mentioned. And look, I get where Luke's coming from. I mean, I'm sure it's not nice to get a horde of their fans from the YouTube side to come after him. He's probably hearing this a lot. I get him for being this harsh. And this honestly is the type of environment that Jesse on Fire and MMA Guru have created, where it's very much like, let's see who can be more mean to the other person. And let me get this out of the way right now. I don't have any issues with Luke Thomas. I respect what he's done in the industry. I think a lot of us owe our careers to where the path that Luke has paved the way for. If you look at his, YouTube account, his branding, the fact that he's on this, big show on Showtime with Brian Campbell, like you can't take anything away from that. Where I think he loses some people, and we saw a little bit of this in the rant, is he sort of talks down to people, an attitude of authority on things that he's not necessarily an expert in either, right? Again, we're not going to get into the political stuff. This sort of all was formulated from a comment that Luke made on the movie The Sound of Freedom. You guys watch my stuff to hear my MMA takes. You don't need my political takes on here, and that's not the focus of this video, like I said. But I think Luke's wrong here a little bit, and one of the things that he sort of implied in this video was that Jesse on Fire and MMA Guru and some of these other YouTubers are sort of nobodies, but I think that couldn't be further from the truth. Jesse on Fire is not just some nobody. He is one of the fastest rising YouTube channels on the planet right now. By comparison, he's got 116,000 subscribers. You look at MMA Junkie, they have 309,000 subscribers, but MMA Junkie's been around for 11 years. They have a huge head start on them. Jesse on Fire is catching up very rapidly, as is the MMA Guru. He's almost at 100,000 subscribers. Lucas Tracy is someone who has less subscribers than me, but you just see the way his content's going. He's going to surpass a lot of people as well. These are all MMA commentators, and I think Luke kind of brushing this under the rug and not acknowledging that this is a big part of the industry going forward, I think is kind of naive on his part. It kind of reminds me a little bit, if we want to go all the way back years ago, to when newspapers were making fun of bloggers, right? Like, oh, these internet bloggers, they're not credible. Listen, Jesse on Fire is part of the industry. He absolutely is. MMA Guru is part of the industry, Luke, whether you like it or not. Somebody the other day was asking Paddy Pimblett about MMA Guru in the press conference.
Heard of the MMA Guru?
I've heard of him, yeah. I've seen a few videos of him.
Thoughts or opinions on his criticisms of your fight?
I'm not really asked, lads, you know what I mean? If he'd be in the cage doing something.
It's like it's slowly, this side of MMA YouTube is sort of seeping into the traditional MMA media, and you're just seeing it more and more as far as it being an important part of the industry. And whether you agree with it or you don't, it's a huge audience right now. Look at these videos here. Just to give you a quick example, Luke Thomas's live chat the other day, and again, Luke has 176,000 subscribers. He had 40,000 views in this video 2 days ago. Jesse on Fire's videos are doing similar numbers. It's something that Luke just can't ignore here, and I think it's again something we're going to see more of going forward, because Luke's kind of making it out like these aren't people you should take seriously, but they are part of the industry. There is an audience for this, is kind of what we're getting at here, and I get where Luke's coming from as well. It's extremely annoying to have people, harp on little things that you say and live streams and all that stuff. We're professionals. We have to put our names on the line. That's another thing Luke mentioned about them having anonymous names. That's just part of the industry. Like, you don't have to give your full name if you want to be a commentator. It's just the way it is, and it probably protects a lot of these creators as well. When fighters see this, they want to, absolutely kill them, right? But someone like myself, I can't make videos like a lot of these because I interview a lot of fighters. I'm on that side of the coin. I can't go out there and start, saying a fighter sucks if I plan on interviewing them, right? You have to be professional. So I just think it's very interesting, because this is a huge sector of the industry that Luke is basically just ignoring. And I think if you look at traditional coverage, how it's going right now, event coverage especially, look at MMA Junkie, and I'm not using them specifically, because you could look at MMA Fighting's channel as well, but event coverage, it's kind of dying a little bit. You're not seeing huge numbers. A lot of those numbers are being overtaken by guys like Guru. Like, every single video he's getting is getting over 20,000 views. Like, I don't think enough people on my side of the media coin in traditional media are talking enough about this. It's a huge audience, and a lot of it is younger people, I'm sure of it. But that's an audience that the UFC in general has struggled to bring in, and this is what you're getting now, are these new commentators that are sort of coming through. The commentary side of things is going to be part of the future. So I think Luke should, if I was Luke and I had people accusing me of this, I think the best thing to do would just say, listen, I don't respect their opinion, we'll end it at that. But Luke just gave Jesse on Fire a huge amount of publicity, and there's people that probably are going to go onto his side as well. And I think one of the mistakes that Luke makes every now and then, and again, this is just my opinion, is he injects his politics a lot into his MMA coverage, and that's going to annoy a lot of people and go over to the side of a Jesse on Fire MMA Guru who can say whatever they want, and there's no repercussions. Like, no one's going to come after these guys. Luke Thomas says something bad, and it's happened to him. There's that video of Luke Thomas asking John Jones a question at a press conference, and John refused to answer it. Why? Because Luke gave his commentary, I'm sure, on things that John didn't like. So that's something to sort of keep in mind here if you're looking at some of these channels. But there's a lot of channels that are, very much doing this type of commentary stuff, and is becoming a new trend in the media. And I'm starting to do more videos, like you're seeing the video here today, just talking about certain topics in MMA that I don't think are being covered enough. And again, like, I'm not naive to it. I know this is the future of MMA coverage, not the full future. You're still going to have people go to events and cover, the fighters and do interviews and be on the ground and all that stuff. But this is also a big part of the MMA audience that I think a lot of traditional media people that are in the industry that I'm in tend to ignore a lot, and I don't really think you can, because I do think it is the future. So I want to know what you think in the comment section below. What do you think of where the industry is heading in terms of coverage? Because like I said, I think event coverage is dwindling a little bit. I mean, there's obviously going to be people who want to see what's going on the front lines, but I think this MMA commentary side of things, people reacting to things that analysts and pundits are saying, is a huge industry that I think is only going to get bigger and bigger. And I think you're going to see more of it in the industry. And it just seems like it's way more popular over the last couple of years than before. And, you know, you want to go all the way back. I'm going to use an old school reference. Does anyone remember Bloodstained Lane?
And first thing I'm gonna say, Nick Diaz, #1 pound for pound fighter in the planet.
He was sort of the first YouTube commentator that was sort of anti-media, and now we're seeing, you know, all these other names that have really made successful careers out of it. So I just think it's something we should be paying attention to. And like I said, I'm on both sides of the coin here. That's one of the reasons I've actually focused a lot on my YouTube channel now, is because I think the coverage side of things is sort of dwindling away a little bit, and I think the commentary side is very much taking over. So let me know what you think in the comments. Again, I don't want to talk necessarily about what Luke and Jesse talked about, what they were arguing about, but I do think it's interesting that these two sides are coming head to head, and I'm sure we'll see it again. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, @Lynch on Sports. I'm James Lynch. Thanks so much for watching. And by the way, if you guys have any other topics you want me to discuss in the MMA industry, whether it's, you know, things like this or other things, just let me know in the comments. I'm always open to new video ideas, and I do like listening to my audience. So thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys soon.